this is your girl, Shan Deyaun, bringing you today's episode, which is part of a series that I am discussing regarding healing and forgiveness. I'm going to have my cousin Ariel come on. She was forced to become an adult at 8 years old, and I'm going to have her tell her story. And please stay tuned to the end because, as always, there is an inspirational message that I am going to give at the end, and I hope you enjoy it. I have my cousin Ariel Payne on. She has a very interesting story that I want her to come on and just give us an understanding of your background, where you came from, the things you've been through in life. And I want you to start from the beginning.
So just to make a long story short, my mom was never married. My dad was never married. Well, he was married to someone else in jail, but he was in love with my mom. Mm-hmm. Actually, the story of how they met was very funny. My mom was, trying to go meet somebody, and she liked to smoke, and he liked to smoke, and he was the one that supplied it, and that's how they met. My mama liked to smoke, so that was one of the things. Nothing bad, because it's legal now, but back then it wasn't. They never were married, but my mom, she loved that man. She was the ride or die. Like, she didn't care. That's all she saw was him. And I loved that she loved something so powerful like that. People don't love like that no more. My mom, when I was like 8, she got shot. And it was pretty much almost fatal. She was shot in the head and pretty much left for dead. She made it, but she didn't make it the same way she left, So pieces and parts of her is all there. Trust me, she will cut you out for less. Still the same person. But the problem is, like, when it comes to memories, she lost her short-term memory. So, she kept her long-term, but she lost the short-term. So what does that consist of? It's mostly financial decisions, stranger danger, things that you and I need, personal hygiene, just things that you would normally do to take care of self. Those are some of the things that she doesn't have. And growing up, it was hard because I didn't understand the magnitude of how she wasn't there. She's there in the physical, but not in the mental. And when all of it went down, I had my aunt, I had my grandmother, I had my entire family, even my extended family. I had everybody, but it was just so much, and it happened so sudden that nobody knew how to react to that situation. Even I didn't know how to react to that situation. I just knew my childhood was over. That's all I knew. I was already taking care of my brother. My mom was teaching me how to deal with my brother because my brother, he also has cerebral palsy. Now, Sean, he learned in school how to walk. He now knows how to use the bathroom. He learned how to talk, and he can eat. Okay, he can eat. Those are some of the things that were his qualities, because my brother didn't believe in giving up. My mom didn't believe in that, but she just was a fighter through the whole situation. She's still a fighter through the whole situation. She's just stubborn as she want to be. And my brother's the same. So I didn't think she would expect anything different of me. As I grew up with my aunt. And it wasn't the best of situations because, one, in Black families, they don't believe in therapy in most cases. And my dad got out of prison when I was 7. Okay, and my mom got shot a year later.
Wow.
I only had literally 8 years of my mom's life that I could say I was a kid.
Right.
My mom eventually moved with my dad at first. My dad tried to make it work because he felt guilty He felt like it was his fault he felt like that bullet was supposed to have been for him, because my dad was into, he was mostly into dealing drugs and being that person that was that guy,
So I want to go back to when you were 8 years old, your mom had gotten shot, and then you moved in with your aunt. Give me some information on that experience.
Man, oh man. I never thought I'd be at the point where I could actually feel comfortable saying all things that happened. My aunt, she worked hard. Even to this day, she still works hard. She did everything she could to raise me and take my brother on. My grandmother got disabled, so she went permanently blind. So she had to take care of her too. And then she had her sister. Meanwhile, trying to keep up with a married life and take care of her own personal family,
Right.
I think that was the hardest thing for her, to juggle so many hats. And it didn't, for me, I didn't see that because I needed help myself and I was going through my own demons. So me and her would clash all the time. I wouldn't get along with her. I didn't know I had a learning disability. So me in school wasn't the best of terms. I was kind of a trouble kid. I want to fight everybody and everything because I blamed everything on myself. And it was just like, when my aunt asked me to do something, I could never have fun, Well, watch your brother, take care of your brother, change your brother. I'm 8 to 12 years old at this time. Like, I want to go outside and have fun with the rest of the kids. Right. I want to play with my skip it or, play until the street lights come out. No, I got to be an adult. I had to be a helpmate to her when I wasn't even ready. So right. I pretty much fought her through the whole process of it. I pretty much resented her, but I adored her. I wanted to be just like her because to me, she was Wonder Woman. To me, she was something powerful. Like, you went to India and you're an engineer? Like, that's powerful. You went to Tuskegee? I did not. I've been to Alabama when she was in college, but I don't remember too much of it. I just remember her having her outfits and being a part of sororities and telling me stories about it. It's just amazing that she got to go so many places for her job and still try to maintain these hats. And it took me a long time because when me and her got into it and it was just time for me to go, at about 13, 14, I was like, I'm ready to go. I can't do this. Like, I don't want to be a part of none of this. I just wanted to run away because I didn't accept what happened with my mom. I didn't accept that, my dad wasn't around all the time. I didn't accept none of it. I was just like, nobody loves me and I might as well just die here or have the world forget me because I'm just here. I'm just a body. Oh, go wash clothes. Go do this. I'm a maid now. At this point, this is how I'm feeling at about 8 to 12 because I'm doing things that normal 8-year-old kids wouldn't do.
Right.
It was just a constant reminder of you are a parent. You are a parent. You are a parent. You are a parent. You're still a minor, but you are a parent.
That is one of the qualities of her that I admired as well, is that she was a very smart woman. Very smart woman. I actually went to school. I initially was going to school for engineering because I'm like, oh, you make money as an engineer. And that's one of the reasons why I went to engineering school. But now you said that you wanted to leave. Now I do understand she was a mom herself. She was married. And then your mom had the accident. So now she's taken on your mom, your brother, you, into her marriage. So it was stressful on her as well as it was stressful on you because you're 8. Now you have these new responsibilities. She doesn't know how to receive all of this new information, but neither did you. So neither one of
Exactly.
y'all knew how to take on these new responsibilities, and you needed therapy. But like you said, Black people don't believe in therapy.
No, they
So
don't.
nobody nobody thought that this 8-year-old needs help. Her dad's not there for her full time. Her mom has gotten shot and she's not mentally all the way together to take care of her how a mother should take care of a child. Now the roles are reversed. So now you're the mother. You're taking care of
Yeah.
your older brother because he is disabled. Now your mom is disabled, and you're 8 years old taking on all these responsibilities. So,
Yeah.
was what made you want to run away from your aunt?
It was the verbal abuse. It was mentally, like, maybe again, I had ADHD. I didn't know until I got to to an adult that I wasn't all there, and even before that, I still had to get therapy to let that go and let that hurt go. So my aunt, if anybody knows my aunt, she is sharp with her words. She is very sharp. So with my aunt, like, you got to learn how to roll with the punches or you got to move out the way. And she's a sensitive person at that. So when you hurt her, she's going to hurt you worse. I would mostly stay in my room because all the things I did, it just seemed like it wasn't enough for her. I remember being in school and needing help with homework. And sometimes she would get so frustrated with me. She'd just be like, well, stay up until you get done with your homework. It'd be like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning by that time. I love my aunt, but it was just like, wow, you going to sleep and I'm still here in the middle of the hallway trying to figure out how to do this homework, and these are some of the things that I didn't like. I'm like, no kid should endure this type of situation. So I understand. She was with the iron fist and that was it. Mm-hmm. That was the whole conversation with my aunt. So I was like, I'm not about to do it. I'm not even about to have a conversation with you. I just don't feel like if I upset you anymore, you might do something else. I never wanted to upset my aunt. Those were the one things that I truly, because I loved her so much and I wanted to be just like her. I already looked just like her, scary. But I didn't want to make her mad or make her feel like she needed to hate me. Like, for a long time, I thought she hated me. For a long time, I thought she hated me. But I understood she was more mad and more hurt about me leaving instead of just talking to her. But
how old were you when you left?
I was like 12.
How did
12,
you leave?
13.
At 12.
I had got a new guardian. And from that point, I just seen the disappointment in her face. And I seen the anger and the hurt in her face from that point. So I moved from that point, like 13 to like probably 15. I moved in with my dad's girlfriend.
How did you know what to do at 12 years old to be able to get a new guardian?
Well, my dad was always in the streets. So that was his thing. He had to make money by any means necessary. Meanwhile, my dad believed that I needed to learn how to read more and be more educated. So he would drop me off at the library.
Wow.
I think about that story of Matilda when she would just walk to the library and just start reading everything. That was me. I was the Black Matilda.
Wow.
And I would learn to read stuff. And I remember this lady at the desk, and she was just like, well, why don't you look up legal stuff? You need to be a lawyer. And she showed me to the right stuff, and I was like, hey, I need to do that. And that's how that happened. And his girl, and I talked to my dad's girlfriend at the time how to talk her into adopt, basically, in the guardianship, adopt me. It's not adopting, but it was guardianship. At this point, I'm older, so I'm starting to fight people because my mom owing them money, and she's like, well, Ariel's going to pay your bill. I don't have no money. I don't even have a job. You talking about something, I'm about to give you some money. And they're like, well, she said you owe us money, so we going to talk to you. And as scary as it was, I wasn't scared of nothing. I'm like, I just want to die anyway. So, and those were the thoughts that I was having. So if I leave this world, I'm gonna leave this world swinging. And those were the rules that I lived by for a long time. Like, I would pray, but I would be okay with dying. And that's some serious. There's some serious things that runs through a kid's head that shouldn't have. I don't think that was healthy,
Right.
at all. You know? So with that going on, and me having a new guardian, and my dad having full control because that's the girlfriend, and she respecting him, she's doing whatever he's saying do. So I was just like, this is not working either, because my dad, he started getting more heavy. Instead of him selling the drugs, he started doing the drugs. So, and with my dad, even with my aunt, everybody would call me stupid. They would say I would never make it. They would say I would get pregnant. Like, one told me I was going to get pregnant at 12. Who tells somebody that? Like, they believed for a long time I was either gay or I was going to be pregnant because I was too fast. But it wasn't my fault that I developed. See, I developed early. So I had probably a body of a 20-year-old at about 16. I learned about emancipation at the library too, but I couldn't be emancipated till I was 16. So I told the world that I got emancipated when I really had another guardian, because it was just easier for me to have access to stuff. And it was easier for me to get myself enrolled in my last year of high school. It was easier for me to find a job. It was easier for me to almost get an apartment until the paperwork came. 16 to 18, I moved away from my dad's girlfriend, and I got a new guardian, which was my cousin. So from 13 to 15, I stayed with my dad's girlfriend. And then from 16 to, adulthood, 18 in that case, I had my cousin. And I remember how she got guardianship of me was because me and my dad would fight, like fist fight. Like, you talking about fighting a 350-pound man that's like 6'2", because he's all coked up and he's got all types of problems going on with him, and he's believing that I'm with Jack, Jill, and everybody else. But that wasn't even the case. See, I worked at McDonald's, and I made enough money to where I got a promotion as a crew trainer. And I remember the last day before I was like, I'm done with everything. I'm taking you to court, and I'm taking you to court. That was a nasty situation. Talk about that was like a bad divorce. Oh, Lord. I was sitting on a porch because they took the key. I was paying rent. I had most of the stuff in my name. I would give up my check and not see nothing and still be on punishment. You tell me how you pay rent and still on punishment. That didn't make sense. They changed the lock, so I didn't have a key to get in, so I had to wait. My dad was sitting on the porch across the street, and he was just talking bad about me. And he was just like, you gonna get in this house and you gonna do what I tell you to do. And he pulled me by my hair and wrapped it and drugged me in the house. And I was like, oh, we about to fight today, because I'm never gonna let a man hit me, not even my father. But when we got into that last fight, I told him that you'll never see me again. The last thing that I remember before I left, my aunt told me, and it pissed me off so bad that it fueled my fire to prove her wrong.
Mm-hmm.
She said, you will never graduate and you're dumber than a box of rocks. And I said, something in me was like, you're not stupid. Don't believe things like that, because for a long time I believed it. And for a long time, I would act the part of me being that. See, this is the thing about your mind. You have to train your body, your mind, and your soul to actually believe something different. Because if you believe what somebody else tell you, you will never be successful. I've seen things that most people would never see as a kid, period. And I said to myself, I will never smoke, because I hated when my grandma smoked, and I hated how my lungs felt. I hated the fact that it was like the whole house was polluted. I will never drink because I hated how my my dad was when he drank. I would never do drugs because I wanted to be conscious about my decisions. Like, I see everything that a person would be like, you know what? I went through this. I'm going to go do that because that's the cool thing. And I'm going to give up because it's so easy to do it. It is. But what if you could change it though? What if you can make a decision that you don't have to do drugs, or you don't have to, be the person that that the people say. So
Right.
my goal and my mission was to prove my aunt wrong. So I enrolled myself in my senior year in high school by myself. I graduated with honors. I even played tennis just so I can get a full ride scholarship at ASU. And I was so excited when I did. And I cried so hard. It made me want to cry now because I'm thinking about it. It made me want to cry so hard thinking about it because I think about the day that they were like, you're accepted.
Wow.
I was like, somebody accepted me and somebody believed that I could do something to make a change within myself. Not my mom, not my brother, not my grandmother, even though she passed, not my father, nobody. And it only took one person, and it was my cousin. She believed that I could do something. I called my aunt to gloat. I did. I called her to gloat and rub it in her face like, yeah, I graduated with honors. And I got a tennis scholarship. And I did my own FAFSA by myself. And then my aunt was like, you need to come get your mom and your brother. I'm like, I'm 18 years old. Well, you don't do it. They're going into a home. You don't tell nobody that, because I'm like, how are you going to put them in a home? And I think that was her, oh, you did this, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to see how you combat that. I was like, okay, well, I'll come there. I ended up getting my own apartment. And when I got my own apartment, it was then I was like, well, I can come get them after that. So they stayed in my 1-bedroom apartment until I moved into a 2-bedroom. And after the 2-bedroom, because I ended up getting pregnant at 19.
So you didn't go to college? You didn't go get the scholarship?
I didn't. I let that go because I was supposed to go to Arizona State University. But I had to go get them. So I was like, okay. And I guess she thought I wasn't going to do anything else for myself. So she was fine with that because I was in working distance. Like, she can see them, she can talk to them, she can do whatever she needed to. And I was the helpmate again. And it brought me back to that part of my life where I was like, I can't do this again. I can't do this again. We about to go right back to it. I had freedom. Now I'm about to go right back to this. Oh, this is some BS here. We're not doing this. It took me 4 years to come back to Era to get to where I wanted. And I said, okay, let me go ahead and do this. And I ended up getting pregnant at 19. So 18, graduated 19, had a son. And I was like, okay, little setback. I'll be okay. I'm going to be all right. My dad passed away when I was 22. I graduated in June of 2007. 4 days later, he got shot himself. And after he got shot, it made him a paraplegic. My dad didn't accept that too well. And he was shot before. He got shot when he was 15 years old, selling drugs. And my dad didn't love me as me. He wished I was a boy. He wanted a boy so bad, he treated me as a boy. As a matter of fact, we didn't have a talk about girls and boys. We had talk about girls. That's it. It was real bad. So everybody, and I'm thinking all of these things. I think I'm gay. I'm thinking I'm retarded. I'm thinking all these things that most people, well, not the, excuse the term, but I think I'm disabled. I'm thinking all these things, and it wasn't true. Within myself. And my dad, after he lost, after he got shot, he went through a mental crisis. So that was another person that was taken care of. He got heavily into drugs. He got heavily into everything to cope with his own pain. And I remember It was 2010. It was his last birthday, October 5th, 2010. It was his last birthday. November 9th was the day he had to go to surgery, and the 13th was his death. So everything was like right there all of a sudden, as a matter of fact. And I remember when it was time that this was the end. I love you. You are a great daughter. You are a strong daughter. I hope the man that you get, I hope the man you get can feed you and can deal with your craziness, because I won't be there to walk you down the aisle. You know, that's hard to hear, but that's the most truthful thing he ever said. He said, you know, I wish this didn't happen to your mom, because you needed your mom more than you needed me. And even then, like, he didn't expect to live past 50. He would have been 60 this year. You know, he missed a lot. So that was the history of my dad. And then I moved 4 years later. I moved to Arizona. I was a mom. I went through postpartum distress. Like, I was breaking. Mm-hmm. Like, there was no turning back. I was like, you know what? I'm about to just have a fresh start. I'm about to get some money anyway, and I'm moving. I asked my aunt, I said, listen, I'm about to go to Arizona and I'm about to get a job, and I'm about to live out there. She hated that fact. As a matter of fact, it was even worse. She was like, oh, you need to come get them or I'm going to report you because you abandoned them. I was like, I didn't abandon them. You have them. Your family. You know, I was like, okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm going to take them and then you won't get to see them. But it was, again, I had so much anger towards her from as a child till, you know, young adulthood. I didn't learn to let go. And in that process of that, my blessings of everything I ever wanted was blocked. The money I got from my dad, you know, that was taken, because when you're my age, you have no parents. There's no guidance. There's nobody to teach you money management skills. And you got about $50,000. What would any kid do? I remember I went homeless in Arizona, and I was in my car, and I remember watching my son sleep. And I had to go to my cousin's house. I said, I'm not about to sit out in this car. And I was crying, and I said, all right, I release the pain that I have with my family. And then I started getting specific, and more tears started coming. I released the fact that I hated my aunt. I released the fact that I hate my aunt. I released the problems I had with my life. I released the hurt I felt with my mom. I released the fact that my dad isn't here. I released all of those things. I tell you, the next day I got calls. I'm about to cry. I got calls for jobs. I got so much assistance with public assistance. I got a new car. Like, it was just blessing after blessing after blessing, because I let the hurt and the pain go. I know it sounds cliche, but the moment that you let that pain go, the moment that you just say, you know what, I just can't. I won't let nobody else post or oppose any type of harm to self, because I gotta love me first. And you put yourself first. I think that's when everything comes in line. And then you learn to write your goals, your dreams down, and everything else that came in place of that. I remember, like, I've been here 10 years, and I remember saying, one day I'm gonna have my own company. One day I'm gonna have my own company. And I remember writing it down. I wrote it down just last year. And since then, everything started coming in. And I just started fasting and praying. That's pretty much what happened. You know, I can't let somebody have that type of, because if you think about it, they sleep well at night. Right. While I got this hate on my heart. Mm-hmm. While I'm hating you, you going to bed. You're not thinking about me. You're not even thinking about if I ate today. You know, I really had to think about a lot of things in my life that changed. And I said, if I ever have a person that experienced situations, I'm going to try to help them as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing I said was, if I ever get to my family, I will always be welcome to talk to all my family.
Right.
Because I would never turn my back on them, because I remember how it was to be alone and not have nobody to talk to. That is a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
You always check on your family, because you never know who's hurt. You
Mm-hmm.
never know who's in pain. You never know who's thinking about death. Those are some situations that people can't deal with, especially things I suppose have been dead. I promise you.
Yeah.
I just know all of that, and every journey that I went through, all of that is just God.
Yeah.
It's just God.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry. You ain't asked no questions.
It is an amazing story, because at 8 years old, your mother got shot. She has never been the same since then.
I also had my grandmother's, my dad's mother. She passed away around the same time too. She passed away at 14. So I had two grandmothers. My mother was shot at 8, and then my dad passed away when I was 21.
Right. And then in the midst of all of that, so your aunt was taking care of you, your brother, and your mother when her mother passed.
Mm-hmm.
So she's taking care of her family, her niece, her sister, her nephew, and then her mother passed. So both of you had tragedy. Both of you had tragedy happen, because yes, that was your mother, but that was her sister who got shot. And then
Exactly.
your grandmother passed, that was her mom. So she didn't know how to effectively raise an extra family. Plus, you didn't get the help that you needed with therapy, and you didn't have a father figure in your life to really sow into you verbally. So you had more verbal abuse than you had verbal uplifting. And the Bible says that death and life is in the power of the tongue. You've had all this negativity in your life. You've had all this hurt. You've had all this pain. And it wasn't until you became homeless is when you realized you were homeless and you had a son, and you realized you were blocking your own blessings by holding on to this unforgiveness. You let go of that unforgiveness, and it's like immediately the blessings started coming. Give me some information. Let people know what it is that you're doing right now.
I started my own real estate company. It's called SK's. SK stands for Shalice Khalil Realty, which is named after my children. It's a piece that I'm teaching them wealth. I'm teaching them how to grow your own business, because when I leave this world, you would have something that reminded you of me. You know, it would have income. It would have everything you need for now. If anything were to happen to me, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not doing what the parents did. You know, my mom, she couldn't help it, but my dad, he could. I started my company for them because I wanted to leave them something. And most Black families, again, they don't leave you wills, or they leave you bills.
Yeah.
You know, they don't believe in insurance policy like that. It's the elders who believe in insurance policies. The new generation, oh, we're doing a car wash.
Right.
But I started SK's Realty. I'm still pulling everything in. So you can always follow my Instagram on SK's, or you can follow it on Facebook, SK's Realty. And a lot more of the housings and things are getting ready to be posted. So stay tuned for that. And that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've been teaching my kids how to own your own business, the steps that it takes. Even I still make my own mistakes, but just to know that they're going to have a piece of something that's more than, you know, materialistic things, you know. So when they have their significant other, they're like, well, my mom left me a company. What can you do?
Right.
You know, I want to set standards high for them, so they don't get confused with somebody that comes in their life and shows them some shiny thing or some shiny object that's not beneficial for their health or for their mental, you know. There's always things like that are in people and programs out there for that helps people like that. But I do suggest if you have some, just let go of hurt, let go of all your pain, let go of all the stress that you have, and believe in your dreams. Again, I didn't believe in none of that. Like, I swear I didn't. Mm-hmm. But the moment that you start believing in yourself and start believing in your dreams, all of it will happen. You just got to start with letting go of that pain. That's a serious situation.
Yeah. And I think it's amazing how it was somewhat of the negativity in your life that kind of motivated you to want to do better. Because you wanted to prove people wrong, that you aren't dumb, and that you can make it, and that you weren't gay, and that you could do it. You can make it. You can live a life that's acceptable. That's acceptable to God, acceptable to the world, acceptable for you. You can live an acceptable life. And I think that a lot of people use their past, they use their upbringing, they use the negativity as an excuse for their behavior. You didn't use it as an excuse for your behavior. You use it as a stepping stone to move forward in life. And you have children of your own, and you realize that the things that you went through, you didn't want to put your children through.
See, I spoke life into all the things I wanted. I did. And I didn't realize I did, because if you think about it, when I said I was 8, I was going to take my parents. I was going to take my mom, I was going to take my brother, and we was going to dip. And I didn't know how, I didn't know why, but I was going to go somewhere. I said I was going to graduate. I did. Everything I said to myself, I was premeditatingly telling myself what we're going to do. It wasn't like, nah, maybe, I might, I can't. No, it was, we're going to do this. And this is what's going to happen. And I kept telling myself. So psychologically, your brain doesn't know the difference between a truth, a lie, or a dream or not a dream. They just think it's reality, and they just make it happen. And the world and the universe, or whatever you believe in, makes it happen. So I believe that then it was going to happen. So you have to speak life into everything you do. So,
well, I thank you so much for coming on, cousin, and sharing your testimony. It's an amazing story, and I know that it's going to help somebody. So I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you so much. I love you, and keep the babies for me. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Those who guard their lips preserve their lives, but those who speak rashly will come to ruin. Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. Keep telling yourself that you are important, deserving, loving, intelligent, worthy, compassionate, beautiful, creative, inspiring, brave, true, strong, and able, until finally you realize it for yourself. If you're watching me right now, that means you stayed tuned to the end, and I greatly appreciate it. The Bible says that death and life is in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. I hope you enjoyed today's message. Please come see me next week for another episode of I Am Shan Deyaun.